Talk about an absolute gut punch. This one hurt. I know there's no expectations for the Raptors season. And you're going up against a very good Denver Nuggets team. I don't care that they're 0-2 to start the season. They have Jokic, they got Murray, they got MPJ, they got all these some really good players. But the Raptors had this game and lost it. They were up basically the entire game. And they had a double-digit lead with a couple minutes left in regulation. And they just could not get a bucket to put the game away. And then they couldn't get a stop to save their life. And then in overtime, God, They were down 8 points at one point, got it down to 2. And they got the stop. I'm just very shocked they didn't use their timeout and advance the ball. I'm really shocked. They thought RJ chugging up the floor, taking a very contested, quite deep 3, and maybe allowing havoc to happen down low, which it did, was the right move. And then unfortunately lost Scotty Barnes there near the end of regulation, so that really did hurt. But I don't know about that call. Not using a timeout there. In my personal opinion, I'd love for them to have used it. I really would have loved it. But they did not use it, and it's very, very, very unfortunate. If you're going to go a no timeout play, you got to have something ready to go. And getting the stop, RJ just running down the floor, taking a very contested 3, off balance, leaning in, it's not a good shot. But regardless of that, it shouldn't have got there. As I mentioned, the Raptors were up all game. They were up. They won the first quarter by 1. They won the second quarter by 7. They were up 8 at the break. They lost the third quarter by 3. So they were still up 5 going into the fourth quarter. And at one point, again, they were up, 10 or 11 late in this basketball game. But they just could not get a bucket to put the game away. Their late game offense was pretty pathetic. And they got nothing going. Now, sure, there were positive signs, right? Scotty Barnes was good. 21, what do you have? 21, 12, and 9. Great. RJ Barrett in his first game back was very aggressive, and I loved what we saw early on in the game. Jakob Poeltl was all over the place, did everything he could against Nikola Jokic. 16 points, 19 boards, right? But in the end, your clutch offense did not exist. Like, that was the issue for me. You had this game. You had it. You were up 10 late. You could have beaten the Denver Nuggets, got back to 500, and put them at 0-3 and really put a statement down. You hung with the T-Wolves, one of the better teams in the Western Conference. You could have beaten a really good Denver Nuggets team. But you don't. And instead, you're now 1-3. And these types of losses do hurt. They really do. Nikola Jokic was great, though. 40 and 10. He was outstanding. Jamal Murray may not have shot the ball great, but made some big shots late in the game. That's what he does. And it's unfortunate. The team stats in the game, what do we got? Raptors shot 29% from 3. Yikes. 45% from the field, 81% from the line. They also missed some free throws down the stretch late in the game. Even though they missed 4 total, they did miss a few down the stretch, which was very unfortunate. Look, you out-rebounded them. You had more assists, more steals, more blocks, less turnovers, more points in the paint, more second chance points, more fast break points, more points off of turnovers. You had the biggest lead in the ball game at 15. Their biggest lead was 8, and that was in overtime. Again, you should have won this basketball game, but you coughed it up late. All right, but let's get some player stats, and then we'll end this thing off. All right, so as I mentioned, Scotty Barnes played 35 minutes, but left the game after getting an elbow in the eye late in the fourth quarter, which was unfortunate. 21, 12, and 9, 9 of 19 shooting, 2 of 4 from the line, 1 of 3 from 3. Had 5 steals and a block in the game, did Scotty B. So he was great. It's just really unfortunate he couldn't have him right at the end in an OT. RJ Barrett, 25 and 3. Shot 9 of 21 from the field, 2 of 6 from distance. It was a -3 on the floor. Again, I thought he was great early on, and then it started to look like he was starting to force. That was kind of the vibe that I got from RJ today. But again, he was fine in his first game back. Jakob Poeltl, as I mentioned, did good enough. Yeah, as good as you can. if you're Jakob Pertl. 16 points, 19 boards, couple assists, 7 of 13 shooting, 2 of 2 from the line, had a block. It was only a -1. I thought he was good. And Davion Mitchell, we talked about in the T-Wolves game, right? Where he dropped a goose egg. He was 0 of 5 from the field, and it was not fun to watch. Well, today a different story. Played 35 minutes, 16 points, couple of rebounds, 6 assists, 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 of 6 from distance. Davion Mitchell did a great job today. Great job today defensively as well. I thought he looked outstanding. Grady Dick, 15, 1 and 4, 5 of 13 shooting, 2 of 7 from 3, 3 of 3 from the line. He was off tonight. He was definitely off shooting the ball. One of his 2 threes that he made hit about every which way on the backboard and on the rim, and somehow went down and dropped in. So I didn't think he was all that great today. Ochai Agbaji, I'm starting to feel him real good now. I mean, I talked about it in the last one as well. He was great. He came off the bench today, and he didn't miss a beat. 15 and 7 on 6 of 12 shooting, 1 of 2 from the line, 2 of 5 from 3. That's the big one. 2 of 5 from 3. Had a steal and a block. I thought he was good. And in the minimal minutes that Jamal Shed played, 8 points, 5 assists on 4 of 8 shooting. Was an even player. I'm shocked he didn't play more than 18 minutes. But regardless of that, there's some positive signs from today's game, sure. But in the end, a heartbreaking loss at Scotiabank Arena where you really should have had this win. And that's the difference between a team who's, look, let's be honest, going to be contending for another championship, and a team who is, and we've heard the word a lot, rebuilding, retooling, figuring things out. That's where these two teams are at, and it showed in the fourth quarter of this basketball game. And it's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. All right, so you know what, guys? The next game for the Toronto Raptors, before I wrap this thing up completely, is Wednesday, maybe? Wednesday in Charlotte. So we talked about this crazy stretch the Raptors have to start the season. Again, Charlotte and, who was it? Detroit, I think in November at some point. Those are the two teams you look at as, hey, if you want to be an all right team, you got to beat the living crap out of these really bad teams. And Charlotte is one of those teams. In Charlotte, 7 o'clock on Wednesday night. Looking to get back in the win column. Put a complete game together. If you play like you did today, you play like you did against Minnesota, you're probably going to beat the damn Hornets. So keep going, keep pushing, and we'll, fingers crossed, that Scotty's okay, and maybe IQ will be good to go. We'll see. All right, so you know what, guys? That's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and the game itself, because it was entertaining, hit the like button to appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys not done so already. Comment down below. Thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game. What you like, what you not like from today's game for the Toronto Raptors. Twitter, Discord, Instagram, TikTok. All that stuff is down below, so follow up there if you haven't done so already. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition Thursdays. They host Seattle Kraken at Scotiabank Arena at 7 o'clock. And as for the Toronto Raptors, they're in Charlotte, taking on the Hornets, 7 p.m. tip-off there on Wednesday night. Thank you so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and a good portion of this game. I'll talk to you guys then.